Angie. We're going to start the counseling session out by, first of all, finding out exactly what it is that you want to talk about today. I know in our initial meeting and interview, we did some consent forms and we went over some paperwork and you filled out an application and everything. And you seem to have some concerns.
I came because I wanted to work on socializing skills.
Okay.
Because I have a problem with interacting with other people. Not sure exactly why. I just never have been very talkative.
And how do you feel when you are in a group setting, with people? How do you typically feel?
Well, whether it's people that I know or not, I tend to just sit back and kind of like shadow off into the corner of the group.
Okay.
I'll do my part if it's like a group thing, but I'm quiet for the most part.
Okay. Now, when you're quiet, are there any thoughts that may be going on in your head at that time? What are you thinking?
It kind of varies, I guess, depending on what's happened recently. I'll just kind of zone out, sort of.
You kind of zone out?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you zone out, are you zoning out to a point where you're just not there, or, are you there, but your mind is just thinking about something else?
I'm there enough to be able to participate and pay attention to what's going on, but not there enough to where I would actually want to interact with everybody else.
Okay. So you make the statement that, you're there to an extent to where you're not wanting to interact. What is it that, can you explain?
I'm not sure. It's like I'm focused enough with what's around me to be able to understand what's going on in the group and what everybody's talking about for the most part.
Okay.
But because I isolate myself to the edge of the group, I just kind of, like, I'll space out every now and then and just let my thoughts wander somewhere else, like, wherever it wants to go. So I'm paying attention, but not really there.
Okay. Now, are you saying somewhere else that you would want to go? When your thoughts are wandering, when your mind is going somewhere else?
It's not always somewhere where I want to go. It's just wherever my thoughts go themselves.
So where do your thoughts typically lead you?
Just about things that have happened recently as far as family, I guess. Because I'm always concerned about family. I'm one of those people that if I get close to somebody and I care about them, then I really care about them and I want to make sure they're okay. So I end up thinking about, is this person okay? Or I wonder if they got through this problem. How could I help them? Something like that.
Okay. So I'm kind of hearing you say, you have a concern for family. And you typically think about family when you are in these social settings, when your mind should, so to say, be more focused on where you're at, the people that you're with. What types of things are you thinking about in reference to family that kind of becomes that barrier for you being able to socialize?
I think I just worry too much about people. So, like, any problem that pops up, I mean, even if it's something small, like they couldn't get somewhere that day or something, and maybe I could have helped. Like, even though a lot of times I know I can't help, and there's not really anything I can do about it, but I kind of feel like I should have been able to do something.
Okay. Do you feel like you're feeling guilty because you couldn't do something for someone?
Yeah, something like that.
think you're feeling guilty?
Not really sure. I guess I just always feel like there's something I can do, and when I can't do anything about any of it, and I can't help in any way, it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel almost like I'm failing at being able to be there for somebody.
So you're starting to have, bad feelings. Hmm. What is it that you would like to do to make you feel better, to not feel bad because you can't do something for someone that someone may want you to do, or just because you want to do it and you didn't do it? What is it that you would like to do to fix it?
I guess, I guess I just have to realize that I can't always be able to fix everything,
Mm-hmm.
and all I can do is be there for them and help when I can.
And do you feel that that would be reasonable enough um, to help you as far as not making yourself feel bad or not beating yourself up because you couldn't?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you reflect back on a scenario or a situation where you were in a social setting and your mind began to wander and you started to worry about family? Can you tell me, just what you can recall was going on at that time?
One of the most recently, well, last year, uh, I was in class and we were doing a group project, and I just kind of was sitting back and my mind wandered off, and my grandfather had just passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was really worried about my family, and my dad and my grandma especially, and of course my aunt and my uncle. They're all siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about my dad because my dad's a lot like me. We keep our emotions and feelings to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen him cry before. And so it really unnerved me to see him cry as much as he did. And then my aunt and my uncle, and he's a very happy, outgoing person.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen him very sad either. And he was real sad too. And my aunt she was upset. She's a little emotional, but she's usually the strong one. So she kind of held up pretty well. But she was upset too. And then my grandma, she just she was trying to hold up everybody and let everybody know that it was okay. And she was being the strong one in it. It's just like,
So do you find yourself looking up to your aunt more so because she is the strong one?
I look up to all of them. I think I'd have to say I look up to my grandma more though, because it was her husband. So, and she did not cry in front of anybody, and she did not sound too sad. She tried to sound happy and be there for everybody.
Front door open.
So you mentioned the comment of holding something in. What exactly do you feel you're holding in?
I hold involved in my emotions and my feelings because I guess I'm kind of an emotional person. So I try to keep them to myself so that I don't end up feeling like I'm burdening everybody else with my problems and how I feel about things, especially if I'm like upset or sad or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it to myself. I won't tell anybody. And if I do, I'll tell them something real small to keep them from figuring out what the big thing is.
Mm-hmm. So let's think back to when you were talking about you're in a social setting. Let's say you're at this party and you know your mind starts to wander. You start thinking about family, and do you think that some of the things that you're holding in is possibly wanting to come out during the time that you're supposed to be socializing in the social setting at this party, so to say, and you know that's why your mind is beginning to wander? I mean, what I'm trying to say is you may have so much boggled up within you to the point where you're just constantly thinking about it at the times that your mind may want to be at that social gathering. Do you think that that may have something to do with what's going on, that you're having a difficult time separating the two, the thoughts of worrying about what's going on with the family and something that may have occurred that you're holding in, and then it's wanting to come out but you just can't let it out, so that's why you back up into that corner, so to say?
Possibly.
Okay. Have you thought about any goals for yourself as far as what you would like to see different when you go out and you socialize?
I want to be able to focus on what needs to be focused on at that time so that I can be able to interact with other people, I guess.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you have this desire to want to be able to stay focused where you are at that moment. And, I know that can be difficult. I know it can be very difficult because you probably have a lot going on and, a lot of people in your family that you are worried about. So, what I would like to recommend is that you try to, when you're in the social setting, try to find at least that one person that maybe you can go to and you can approach, and maybe pick something out that's going on now within that setting that you would be in, and try to work and build from that point and just see how things go with your socialization skills. You still may have moments where you're going to worry and you're going to think about family and what could have been done and what should have been done. But just try that to maybe separate the two. Because sometimes when you get your mind set at something else and you start talking about something else, sometimes those thoughts, they'll go, on the back burner for just a moment. And then you can be able to socialize and enjoy yourself. So we'll try that and see how that works. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel so far, about talking about all of this? Do you feel like you've gotten anything accomplished? Do you feel as though you were able to, air some things out as a starting point?
Mm-hmm. I feel pretty good.
Feel pretty good.
I think we can continue.
Okay. So you feel relaxed? You don't feel nervous? Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Because what I want you to do, I want you to be able to open up and, understand that everything that's said here is between you and I. Okay? I want you to feel free. Anything, if you decide one day that, you want to come in and you just want to ramble things off, we can do this together. We, working on the socialization skills and learning how to separate the two, family from your social life, so that you can have a better social life eventually.